The goal of our work is that given a casually captured monocular video as shown here, the camera is moving and objects in the scene are also moving. We aim to perform space-time view synthesis as shown here. We can render video frames at novel views with any given time steps. Conventional structures from motion systems such as CoMap fails to recover camera poses on challenging videos with highly dynamic objects, poorly textured surfaces, and rotating camera motion. We address this robustness issue by jointly estimating the static and dynamic radiance fields along with the camera poses and focal lengths. We demonstrate the robustness of our approach via extensive qualitative and quantitative experiments. So first of all, what is neural radiance field, NeRF? Taking a set of calibrated images as input, NeRF is a static 3D scene representation that can render novel views. So what are the remaining challenges of NeRF? First, you need the calibrated images, which means you need to know the camera poses. Acquiring accurate camera poses is very challenging, especially when we deal with in a while casually captured videos. Second, NeRF assumes the scene is static, which is impractical in real-world videos. Many papers attempt to tackle these two limitations. The first is to deal with unknown camera poses. For example, BARF in ICCD 2021 proposes to reconstruct the scene geometry and estimate the camera poses simultaneously. On the other hand, many methods such as dynamic NeRF in ICCD 2021 extends NeRF to handle dynamic scenes. Our targets are casually captured videos, so our target is more ambitious by combining these two aspects. We aim to reconstruct a dynamic scene with unknown camera poses. However, direct combining these two methods does not work well. Estimate camera poses and dynamic scene geometry simultaneously is a chicken and egg problem. Therefore, we develop a sophisticated pipeline to make this challenging task works. This is our overall framework. We model the dynamic scene with static and dynamic radiance fields, both with explicit voxel grids. We will first talk about how to reconstruct the static radiance field and optimize the camera poses. The computed gradients backpropagate not only to the static voxel grid and MLPs, but also to the camera parameters. We apply a coarse-to-fine strategy by gradually increasing the voxel resolution and initialize the camera poses with identities. In this way, we can gradually reconstruct sharper images along with accurate camera poses. For the loss calculations, we first take an input frame. We sample a pixel, then shoot a ray, and volume render the 3D point of this pixel. Next, we project this 3D point onto the next frame according to the estimated camera pose. We can also get a pixel correspondence from the pre-trained optical flow network. Then these two pixels should be at the same location, therefore we apply a loss to minimize the reprojection error. Next, we can also volume render the corresponding pixel into a 3D point and minimize the depth difference between these two 3D points as they should be the same. In order to handle challenging scenes, we also get the volume rendered depths and encourage the volume rendered depths to be similar to the depth map from a pre-trained molecular depth estimation network. Note, we are also optimizing the camera poses, therefore we can only calculate these losses on the static regions. So we fit the neighboring frames using the epipolar constraint and get a static mask. And we apply this mask in all the loss calculations to mask out the moving objects. For more details, we use the optical flow map to fit a fundamental matrix for consecutive frames and calculate the epipolar error. Finally, we combine the error map with the detection results from mask RCNN to get the dynamic masks. We can first compare our post-estimation and static scene reconstruction results with BARF. These are the input videos. BARF fails to estimate proper scene geometry, and our scene reconstruction is better. The second part is reconstructing the dynamic radiance field to model dynamic objects. We additionally introduce a coordinate deformation MLP and time-dependent shallow MLPs to model the temporal deformation. We stop the gradients from the dynamic radiance field to help the optimization find better poses. The process is very similar to the static part. However, to deal with dynamic movement associated with time, we use a SynFlow MLP to model the 3D movement of the 3D point by taking time as input. Finally, let's look at some space-time synthesis comparisons. Our method performs better than dynamic NeRF with fewer visual artifacts and produces results of much better visual quality. Next, we want to compare the methods with this input monocular video. Our method can handle this casually captured video. Unfortunately, existing methods cannot process this video, as structure from motion systems fail to calculate the camera poses. Therefore, we decided to give our estimated poses as their input, and then they can finally process the video. Although they can render novel space-time videos with the help of our estimated camera poses, our method still produces much better results as we jointly optimize everything: the poses, the static geometry, and the dynamic radiance field. Here's another example with our estimated camera poses. Another one. Our method can also reconstruct temporally consistent geometry as shown here. In the cases that the camera is moving fast, the flow estimation fails and leads to wrong estimated poses and geometry. Our method assumes a shared intrinsic over the entire video and thus cannot handle challenging focal lengths well. Finally, we demonstrate the robustness of our method by showcasing high-fidelity dynamic view synthesis results on a wide variety of videos.